Welcome to Weedsday Wednesday, Tucson, Arizona's #1 online radio podcast about all things medical cannabis. Your host, Belle
and the Cannabis Kid. Our show features news, interviews, and all the latest information about anything and everything medical cannabis related in Tucson, Arizona,
and the world at large.
Little Bear.
Please give us a call live at 646-915-8421. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on all social media, or email thctucson@gmail.com.
We'd like to thank Tumbleweeds Health Center and Studio C, along with our many sponsors, for hosting our show every week. With the lowest price certifications in town, you'll find hemp products, accessories, and all things related to medical cannabis education.
Visit Tumbleweeds Health Center at 4826 East Broadway Boulevard or online at tumbleweedshealthcenter.com. And remember,
Be smart
be safe
and educate.
All right, welcome to Weedsday Wednesday, everybody. November the 12th, which means we just had a birthday. Happy birthday to Tumbleweeds Health Center. Yeah. Woo, Tumbleweeds, 14 years old. Yes, total magic. Happy birthday. 14 years. That is crazy. That is total crazy making. Let's see how long the golf clap lasts. I think it's really quick. So if I go like that, we can do that. Yeah. We can keep claps going all day. Oh, happy birthday, Tumbleweeds. All right. Woohoo. Thanks for being here, folks. That was a lot of clapping. That was like 2 minutes of clapping. All right. Happy Weedsday Wednesday. You are here and we are rocking and rolling. Woo. All right. Thanks for tuning in today, folks. Happy Weedsday Wednesday. Belle Star here. And Cannabis Kid, Silver Sister are out there. Sending love to Silver Sister and, condolences to the family. And now you have another little angel on your side. So we don't like when our animals and our people go away. We don't like it. We're done. Okay, we're done. Yes, happy birthday to Tumbleweeds Health Center. 14 years. We have been around longer than any of the dispensaries have been open, probably longer than most all of the certification centers. I would probably bet that there are just a handful of us that have been around for that long. So kudos to you all out there that have done this for that long. Wow. Holy cow. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy playing weed. All right, you guys, you're a little late. So we're not, yeah, why not? You guys are just late. Yeah. And in case you were wondering, how many days until Christmas? Holy cow, there are only 43 days until Christmas and just a few more days until the next Bills game. You guys better win. I finally talked Silver Sister into coming to watch the Bills game with me, and they freaking lose. What the heck, man? Yeah, lame. Ugh. You guys better win the next game, or it's not looking good for y'all. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say. Just saying. Just saying. All right. Well, and also just saying, if you want to get certified in the great state of Arizona, we're still one of the least expensive in the state, and we're the best in the state. We've won Best Certification Center 9 times. That's a lot. I think they started 10 or 11 years ago. So that's, that says a lot when your peeps keep voting for you. Um, but we're the best because we have doctors that care, and our staff care, and we love you guys. And navigating this medical marijuana or any marijuana system for anybody that isn't used to it is a really difficult process. So we try to be there as much as we possibly can to make that process simple. Because we have a lot of older folks as patients, and they're not used to the computer part of things. Uh, the state of Arizona requires that you get online and make it's a medical portal, just like you would for your Blue Cross Blue Shield or anything, your medical records, or people want you to check into your appointments online now, and they send you all these crazy text messages, and um, they don't have their systems worked out. I will tell you that right now, because I get text messages all day long from this one company that I'm like, guys, enough with the text messages. I need one the day before that says, don't forget your appointment. And, that's about it. Um, but some of them just, they don't know how to run technology. Even the doctor's office doesn't know how to run technology. So our older patients have trouble with it, but we try and help. We'll even make um, create your own emails for you guys, and um, create your portals for you. It's a hard system to navigate if you're not used to it. So that's what we're here for. We're here to help you out. If you want to get certified in the great state of Arizona, you can do so right here with us. You can do it from the comfort of your own cozy couch, or facility, or bus, or car, or wherever you are. Sounds like Dr. Seuss. Um, Maybe not on a moose, because you might not have reception out there. That's pretty far. If you're on a moose and not a car. Sorry, I can't help myself. Silver Sister's rolling her eyes, if she's even listening right now. She's probably sleeping a crying headache off. Sorry, Silver Sister. All right. So if you have one of these appointments, you can book your appointment online at tumbleweedsalescenter.com. If you have one of these conditions, you can get certified for your medical cannabis card today. And even if you don't hear your condition listed, don't worry about it. We can get you certified if the treatment that you're getting for one of these conditions is causing anything on the list. So sometimes, you could have Asperger's, autism, Parkinson's, tremors, Tourette's, even dementia, all sorts of things that aren't on the list. But when you're taking medication for these things, or treatments, or modalities, or whatever you're doing, sometimes they cause headaches, which is on the list, nausea, which is on the list, wasting syndrome, which is on the list. Here I'm going here, tremors, shakes, spasms, seizures, things like that. A lot of things, a lot of medications you might be taking for autism, let's say, might cause seizures. You just don't know. So some of these, this one in particular, PTSD, you have to have your own medical record. Our doctors can't diagnose you with that. You have to be seeing a special doctor to get diagnosed with PTSD, and that has to be ongoing, a yearly thing. Cancer, glaucoma, AIDS, you'll probably have seen a doctor if you're diagnosed with those. Chronic pain can be anything as long as it's 2 months old. 60 days. 60 days is the requirement for chronic pain. Severe nausea, and chronic pain includes migraines, fibromyalgia, arthritis, joint pain, muscle aches, leg cramps, menstrual cramps, backaches, whatever, as long as it's 2 months long. Severe nausea, and those last two conditions, if you're getting, like I said, if you're getting treated for something, you're taking a medication that's causing either of those, you can get your card. Seizures, including epilepsy, all seizures, HIV, Hep C, ALS, Crohn's disease, agitation of Alzheimer's, dementia, and the 20-something types of Alzheimer's there are, cachexia or wasting syndrome, severe symptoms including multiple sclerosis, MS. You are eligible for a medical cannabis card if you suffer from a chronic or debilitating disease or a medical condition, or just the treatment for a chronic or debilitating disease or medical condition that causes any of the above conditions and more. If you suffer from one of these medical conditions and have
have been diagnosed by an Arizona licensed physician, medical cannabis may help relieve your symptoms. Tumbleweeds Health Center is Arizona's premier cannabis certification, health, and education center. Our primary focus is to help the patients of Arizona obtain their medical marijuana card and educate everyone about medical cannabis. With current medical records, approval is a simple process. Contact Tumbleweeds Health Center to see if you qualify for your Arizona medical marijuana card.
Are chronic conditions holding you back from a happy, healthy life? Get on the right track with Tumbleweeds Health Center. Our CBD products are formulated to fit your health lifestyle.
I would definitely say that CBD is my life. I don't worry about my dog anymore, and I don't worry about food anymore.
Tumbleweeds Health Center, voted #1 health center in Tucson, has created a proprietary number of CBD blends, each designed to promote health and well-being. Let Tumbleweeds Health Center show you how CBD products might help you improve your life the natural way.
No, we're not going into that yet. I know. I got excited too. I was like, yeah. No, it's just I can't get this to not repeat. It's very strange. So, yes, give us a call. 520-838-4430. And we'll get you an appointment. We'll talk to you a little bit about what your condition is and if you have records, if you need records. We'll get you an appointment. And you can also just come and chat with one of our doctors if you want to see if one of the medical conditions that you have qualifies for your Arizona medical marijuana card. Because not all of them do, but most of them do. I mean, there's, like I said, there are ways around to get to your medical marijuana card. Boy, that's loud. I didn't realize how loud Tech Guy was always here to yell at me and say, quit it. Anytime I mess with something, rustled with something, he'd be like, quit, knock it off. I can hear every single thing. So, all right. Let's see here. I have, before we get to any articles or anything, I've got a little TED Talk. Not a little bit Alexis, although I do love that was great. Let's see. Nope, that's that. And this is this. And it's labeled A Doctor's Case for Medical Marijuana. So there's a doctor out there who you'll hear his little story. But I thought this was an interesting, it's 15 minutes, so we'll play this and we'll get into our break and then we'll read some local news. But I thought it was an interesting perception from a medical doctor. So check it out. And there's going to be a couple commercials. Hmm.
One thing collapse. The secrets the billion-dollar industry doesn't want you to know.
All right. Well, can you hear me now out there going on, because it looks like it looks like our lovely little device is messing up again. Can you hear me now, Silver Sister? She's out there listening. I was playing this TED Talk, and let me see if she can hear me. That would be great. And if not, then we don't have a show. So I don't know. I'm going to call in myself right now, see if I can anyway. That's always fun, trying to call into the show. Well, you can't call. Well, yes, I can. No, I can't call in. Jeez. Um, Not like I could for Blog Talk. So we have to go to, nope. Yep. Okay. You can hear me now. So, okay. So let's try this. Let's see if you can hear this. And can you hear this? All right. See if you can hear this.
I would like to tell you about the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to me.
Can you
in
hear
my
the show
years
now?
of working as
That's
a palliative care
the show I'm playing
This happened a couple of years
on the
ago.
TED Talker.
I was asked as a consultant to see a woman in her 70s, retired English professor, who had pancreatic cancer. I was asked to see her because she had pain, nausea, vomiting. When I went to see her, we talked about those symptoms. And in the course of that consultation, she asked me whether I thought that medical marijuana might help her. I thought back to everything that I had learned in medical school about medical marijuana, which didn't take very long because I learned absolutely nothing. And so I told her that as far as I knew, medical marijuana had no benefits whatsoever. And she smiled and nodded and reached into the handbag next to the bed and pulled out a stack of about a dozen randomized controlled trials showing that medical marijuana has benefits for symptoms like nausea and pain and anxiety. She handed me those articles and said, maybe you should read these before offering an opinion, doctor. So I did. That night, I read all of those articles and found a bunch more. When I came to see her the next morning, I had to admit that it looks like there is some evidence that can offer medical benefits. And I suggested that if she really was interested, she should try it. You know what she said? This 73-year-old retired English professor, she said, I did try it about 6 months ago. It was amazing. I've been using it every day since. It's the best drug I've discovered. I don't know why it took me 73 years to discover this stuff. It's amazing. That was the moment at which I realized I needed to learn something about medical marijuana because what I was prepared for in medical school bore no relationship to reality. So I started reading more articles, I started talking to researchers, I started talking to doctors, and most importantly, I started listening to patients. Ended up writing a book based on those conversations, and that book really revolved around 3 surprises to me anyway. One, I already alluded to, but there really are some benefits to medical marijuana. Those benefits may not be as huge or as stunning as some of the most avid proponents of medical marijuana would have us believe, but they are real. Surprise number 2, medical marijuana does have some risks. Those risks may not be as huge and as scary as some of the opponents of medical marijuana would have us believe, but they are real risks nonetheless. But it was the third surprise that was most surprising. And that is that a lot of the patients I talked with who turned to medical marijuana for health weren't turning to medical marijuana because of its benefits or the balance of risks and benefits or because they thought it was a wonder drug, but because it gave them control over their illness. It let them manage their health in a way that was productive and efficient and effective and comfortable for them. To show you what I mean, let me tell you about another patient. Robin was in her early 40s when I met her. She looked, though, like she was in her late 60s. She had suffered from rheumatoid arthritis for the last 20 years. Her hands were gnarled by arthritis. Her spine was crooked. She had to rely on a wheelchair to get around. She looked weak and frail, and I guess physically she probably was, but emotionally, cognitively, psychologically, she was among the toughest people I've ever met. And when I sat down next to her in a medical marijuana dispensary in Northern California to ask her about why she turned to medical marijuana, what it did for her, and how it helped her, she started out by telling me things that I had heard from many patients before. It helped with her anxiety. It helped with her pain. When her pain was better, she slept better. And I'd heard all that before. But then she said something that I'd never heard before. And that is that it gave her control over her life and over her health. She could use it when she wanted, in the way that she wanted, at the dose and frequency that worked for her. And if it didn't work for her, then she could make changes. Everything was up to her. The most important thing she said was she didn't need anybody else's permission. Not a clinic appointment, not a doctor's prescription, not a pharmacist's order. It was all up to her. She was in control. And if that seems like a little thing for somebody with chronic illness, it's not at all. When we face a chronic serious illness, whether it's rheumatoid arthritis or lupus or cancer or diabetes or cirrhosis, we lose control. And note what I said, when, not if. All of us, at some point in our lives, will face a chronic serious illness that causes us to lose control. We'll see our function decline. Some of us will see our cognition decline. We'll be no longer able to care for ourselves, to do the things that we want to do. Our bodies will betray us. And in that process, we'll lose control. And that's scary. Just scary. That's frightening. It's terrifying. When I talk to my patients, my palliative care patients, many of whom are facing illnesses that will end their lives, they have a lot to be frightened of. Pain, nausea, vomiting, constipation, fatigue, their impending mortality. But what scares them more than anything else is this possibility that at some point, tomorrow or a month from now, they're going to lose control of their health, of their lives, of their health care, and they're going to become dependent on others, and that's terrifying. So it's no wonder, really, that patients like Robin, who I just told you about, when in that clinic, turned to medical marijuana to try to claw back some semblance of control. How do they do it, though? How did these medical marijuana dispensaries, like the one where I met Robin, how do they give patients like Robin back the sort of control that they need? And how do they do it in a way that mainstream medical hospitals and clinics, at least for Robin, weren't able to? What's their secret?
Things used to run smoothly around here. Now I'm too busy with complex payroll to look over my shoulder.
So I decided to find out. I went to a CD clinic in Venice Beach in California and got a recommendation that would allow me to be a medical marijuana patient. I got a letter of recommendation that would let me buy medical marijuana. I got that recommendation illegally because I'm not a resident of California. I should know that. I should also know, for the record, that I never used that letter of recommendation to make a purchase. And to all of you DEA agents out there, love the work that you're doing. Keep it up. Even though it didn't let me make a purchase, though, that letter was priceless because it let me be a patient. It let me experience what patients like Robin experience when they go to a medical marijuana dispensary. And what I experienced, what they experience every day, hundreds of thousands of people like Robin, was really amazing. I walked into the clinic, and from the moment that I entered many of these clinics and dispensaries, I felt like that dispensary, that clinic was there for me. There were questions at the outset about who I am, what kind of work I do, what my goals are in looking for a medical marijuana prescription or product, what my goals are, what my preferences are, what my hopes are. How do I think? How do I hope this might help me? What am I afraid of? These are the sorts of questions that patients like Robin get asked all the time. These are the sorts of questions that make me confident that the person I'm talking with really has my best interests at heart and wants to get to know me. The second thing I learned in those clinics is the availability of education. Education from the folks behind the counter, but also education from folks in the waiting room. People I met were more than happy, as I was sitting next to them, people like Robin, to tell me about who they are, why they use medical marijuana, what helps them, how it helps them, and to give me advice and suggestions. Those waiting rooms really are a hive of interaction, advice, and support. And third, the folks behind the counter. I was amazed at how willing those people were to spend sometimes an hour or more talking me through the nuances of this strain versus that strain, smoking versus vaporizing, edibles versus tinctures, all, remember, without me making any purchase whatsoever. Think about the last time you went to any hospital or clinic and the last time anybody spent an hour explaining those sorts of things to you. The fact that patients like Robin are going to these clinics, are going to these dispensaries and getting that sort of personalized attention and education and service really should be a wake-up call to the healthcare system. People like Robin are turning away from mainstream medicine, turning to medical marijuana dispensaries because those dispensaries are giving them what they need. If that's a wake-up call to the medical establishment, it's a wake-up call that many of my colleagues are either not hearing or not wanting to hear. When I talk to my colleagues, physicians in particular, about medical marijuana, they say, oh, we need more evidence. We need more research into benefits. We need more evidence about risks. And you know what? They're right. They're absolutely right. We do need much more evidence about the benefits of medical marijuana. We also need to ask the federal government to reschedule marijuana to Schedule 2 or to deschedule it entirely to make that research possible. We also need more research into medical marijuana's risks. Medical marijuana's risks. We know a lot about the risks of recreational use. We know next to nothing about the risks of medical marijuana. So we absolutely do need research. But to say that we need research and not that we need to make any changes now is to miss the point entirely. People like Robin aren't seeking out medical marijuana because they think it's a wonder drug or because they think it's entirely risk-free. They're seeking it out because the context in which it's delivered and administered and used gives them the sort of control they need over their lives. And that's a wake-up call we really need to pay attention to. The good news, though, is that there are lessons we can learn today from those medical marijuana dispensaries. And those are lessons we really should learn. These are often small mom and pop operations run by people with no medical training. And while it's embarrassing to think that many of these clinics and dispensaries are providing services and support and meeting patients' needs in ways that billion-dollar healthcare systems aren't, we should be embarrassed by that, but we can also learn from that. And there are probably 3 lessons at least that we can learn from those small dispensaries. 1, we need to find ways to give patients more control in small but important ways, how to interact with healthcare providers, when to interact with healthcare providers, how to use medications in ways that work for them. In my own practice, I've gotten much more creative and flexible in supporting my patients in using drugs safely to manage their symptoms. With the emphasis on safely, many of the drugs that I prescribe are drugs like opioids or benzodiazepines, which can be dangerous if overused. But here's the point. They can be dangerous if they're overused, but they can also be ineffective if they're not used in a way that's consistent with what patients want and need. So that flexibility, if it's delivered safely, can be extraordinarily valuable for patients and their families. That's number 1. Number 2, education.
Oh, sorry about the ads. ads happen. Let's see if we can't, where is it? We'll just quiet the ad and say you're listening to Weedsday Wednesday. Whoop, whoop, tuning in.
Huge opportunities to learn from some of the tricks of those medical marijuana dispensaries to provide more education that doesn't require a lot of physician time necessarily, or any physician time, but opportunities to learn about what medications we're using and why, prognosis, trajectories of illness, and most importantly, opportunities for patients to learn from each other. How can we replicate what goes on in those clinic and medical dispensary waiting rooms, how patients learn from each other, how people share from each other. And last but not least, putting patients first, the way those medical marijuana dispensaries do, making patients feel legitimately like what they want, what they need is why, as healthcare providers, we're here. Asking patients about their hopes, their fears, their goals, and preferences. As a palliative care provider, I ask all of my patients what they're hoping for and what they're afraid of. But here's the thing, patients shouldn't have to wait until they're chronically, seriously ill, often near the end of life. They don't have to wait, they shouldn't have to wait until they're seeing a physician like me before somebody asks them, what are you hoping for? What are you afraid of? That should be baked into the way that healthcare is delivered. We can do this, we really can. Medical marijuana dispensaries and clinics all across the country are figuring this out. They're figuring this out in ways that larger, more mainstream health systems are years behind. But we can learn from them, and we have to learn from them. All we have to do is swallow our pride, put aside the thought for a minute that because we have lots of letters after our name, because we're experts, because we're chief medical officers of a large healthcare system, we know all there is to know about how to meet patients' needs. We need to swallow our pride. We need to go visit a few medical marijuana dispensaries. We need to figure out what they're doing. We need to figure out why so many patients like Robin are leaving our mainstream medical clinics and going to these medical marijuana dispensaries instead. We need to figure out what their tricks are, what their tools are, and we need to learn from them. If we do, and I think we can, and I absolutely think we have to, we can guarantee all of our patients will have a much better experience. Thank you.
All right. Woo, sorry about that.
Hello and welcome, everybody. We're just letting the last.
No,
few
we
people
are
in
not.
out of the
Let me
meeting
figure
room,
this
so
out.
Just a few more
And
seconds and
no.
we'll be
We are not letting anyone in the rating room. I'm not sure what Robin Smart has to talk about. Alzheimer's. All right. Well, that's one thing actually that I do want to look into and research because I've had some major loved ones in my life affected by this and actually pass away from it. So I am going to be doing some more research about that. But in the meantime, no, we're not going to dance with Alexis. We're going to get on over to our favorite commercial. No, well, kind of a commercial, but not really. It's our favorite break song.
I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a little more watch out. This is fucking awesome.
Walk into my house like, what up? I got some good pot. I'm just pumped up, got some herb from the pot shop. Ice in the fridge, it used to be frosty. My friends like, damn, this is stone ass donkey. Rolling in hella high, looking like it's FIFA time. Dominating all my friends as I eat some chili fries. Draped in the snuggie with my girl sitting next to me. Probably should've had a big gulp full of iced tea. But shit, it was 99 cents. I'll be blazing and smoking, about to go and get some munchies. Next, passing up on the striker jacks, Reese's Pieces of where it's. I gotta get me some soda pop. Cotton mouth has been creeping up, but can't remember where I put my keys. Yeah, that's what's up. I'ma take your grandpa's ride. No, for real. Ask your grandpa, can I take a 65 to Bill cruising to my local Publix? Nothing better than rolling with 2 super fly chicks that have frozen burritos. I bought frozen burritos. I bought some Ben and Jerry's, and then I bought some Cheetos. Hello, my main man Obama. A couple states have just reformed their laws on marijuana. What you gonna do? Send the feds there? Hell no. The DPAs will be like, they got volcano.
I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunting, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome. I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunting, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome.
What you know about the science of marijuana? What you know about people suffering from glaucoma? They need it, it helps them with their condition. If you don't believe me, then just ask some eye physicians. Thank your granddad for voting for that guy. Richard Nixon is the president who made the plant illegal, but science is now showing that it's medicine for people, and the private sector's fighting to keep all of that illegal. Alcohol and tobacco, pharmaceutical prisons. I'll take those 4 major lobby groups and fight those motherfuckers. They're making money day and night, all those motherfuckers, and bribing Congress out of sight, all those motherfuckers. They be like, oh, it's immoral and unhealthy. I'm like, how many people are you making wealth? Anti-marijuana lobbies are making all kinds of profits, and they don't want you to stop because of all the special interest. I call that getting swindled and pimped shit. I call that getting tricked by the government. That law's hella old, so it's time to update it, regulate it, and then get it under state control. Peak game, look into my political telescope. Think it's gonna stay like this forever? Not hella won't. Not hella won't. Hey, grandma, stop being a hypocrite. You used to smoke weed, fool.
I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunting, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome. Listen, no more on drugs. It's time to pull the plug. These special interest groups are nothing more than corporate thugs. Let's end the war on weed. The people have agreed. These special interest groups have kept these laws for bribery. I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunting, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome.
All right, welcome back to Weedsday Wednesday, everybody. That always goes so fast. All right, well, you heard the doctor's opinion. That was his opinion, and I think, part of that's true. I think a lot of that's true. We just listened to a TED Talk with the doctor that was discussing medical marijuana and their pancreatic cancer condition, and he was saying that most all of his patients were really happy that they got to monitor their illness and medication, and that's not something that people usually get to do. It's pretty rare that you get to prescribe your own medication and strength and how often you take it and how much, how little, blah blah blah. Yeah, anyway, it's good when patients are in control of their own lives and in control of their own medicine. It makes a really big difference. It really does, because you get to care for yourself in ways that doctors usually don't. Usually you don't get an opportunity to go in and sit down for any length of time, really, and discuss your medication and cannabis with the doctor, because, like this doctor said, he had zero training, and that's not good. Zero training is not good. So anywho, there you have it. You're listening to Weedsday Wednesday. Belle Star here. Cannabis Kid, Silver Sister are out there. And let's see what else is going on in the world of weed. Oh, here's an interesting article. Always, the government. Okay. All right. So with our deal to reopen the government, apparently the intoxicating hemp ban product or hemp product ban was included in that, apparently. And this is from cannabisbusinesstimes.com. Intoxicating hemp products remained in the crosshairs of the U.S. Senate on November 9th when lawmakers struck a deal ahead of a procedural vote, 60-40, for a continuing resolution to reopen the government. 8 Democrats broke party lines to break a filibuster. The government has been shut down since October 1st as Republicans and Democrats clash over taxes, health care, and other partisan issues. The continuing resolution to open the government includes full year-round funding for 3 fiscal 2026 appropriation bills, including the Agriculture, Rural Development, Food and Drug Administration, FDA, and Related Agencies Appropriations Act, the Military Construction, Veterans Affairs, and Related Agencies Appropriations Act, MILCON, VA, and a legislative branch funding bill. The Senate originally passed this 3-bill minibus package on August 1st, but without any hemp industry altering provisions. The same can't be said for the agricultural spending bill that advanced on Sunday. The 141-page bill includes nearly $26.7 billion in non-defense funding aimed at supporting American farmers, rural communities, nutrition programs, medical research, and other issues to protect the nation's food supply. As part of the Senate Appropriations Committee summary for the spending bill released on November 9th, one of 4 key takeaways was a hemp ban. The bill, if enacted, would prevent the unregulated sale of intoxicating hemp-based or hemp-derived products, including Delta-8 THC, from being sold online in gas stations and corner stores, while preserving non-intoxicating CBD and industrial hemp products, according to the summary. So, intoxicating for who? That's my question right there at this juncture in this article. Intoxicating for who? Because, before my little medical trip to the hospital, I could take 100 milligrams of anything and it wouldn't affect me. Now, because I got off all everything of alcohol, most sodas. Occasionally, I have a soda here and there. Even cannabis for a year. I'm super sensitive to things now, but that's me. I'm not sensitive to smoking weed because I wasn't before. I think my tolerance just wound back up. But intoxicating for who? As defined in the bill, any, quote, intermediate or final hemp-derived cannabinoid products would be separate from industrial hemp grown for fiber, grain, or other purposes not intended for human or animal use. Hemp-derived cannabinoid products intended for human or animal administration, inhalations, ingestion, or topical application could not contain synthetic cannabinoids or cannabinoids that were synthesized or manufactured outside the plant. Only cannabinoids that are capable of being naturally produced would be allowed. Okay, guys, look out. It's coming. Also, hemp-derived cannabinoid products could not have, here you go, more than 0.3% total THC, including Delta-9 THC, THCA, or any other cannabinoids that have similar effects on human or animal as determined by the U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services. In addition, finished hemp-derived cannabinoid products designed for the end consumer could not have more than 0.4 milligrams total THC per container. Oh, mosquito. Oh boy, that guy was on my, oh my God, sorry. That thing is a monster. I got him. And I got him. I'm pretty sure I got him. I think I did. I think he flew away. Oh my God. Nope, I got him. That guy was like the size of a dime, at least, Silver Sister. I mean, and what I've learned now is when I'm trying to get him with my zapper, you can't like swing fast at them because I call them air sharks. That's my new term for mosquitoes, is air sharks. Yeah, because they are. Oh my Lord. and now I'm itching because they got me. But I wasn't watching. He's on my hand, actually, I think. But you have to go like really slow and push them into something. Pushed him into the kitty blanket. Sorry, kitties. But he got me before then. Dang it. Okay. In addition, we'll read again. Finished hemp-derived cannabinoid products designed for the end consumer could not have more than 0.4 milligrams THC per container. Ooh. These provisions aim to close what many perceive as unintended loophole in the 2018 Farm Bill, which legalized the commercial cultivation of hemp, but also led to the proliferation of intoxicating cannabinoid products sold in unregulated retail settings nationwide. When the Senate Appropriations Committee initially passed similar provisions in the agricultural spending bill in July, Senator Mitch McConnell said he never intended to legalize hemp beyond its grain and fiber outputs when he championed the 2018 Farm Bill that President Donald Trump signed during his first term. The only good thing he's done. Sorry, I got political. My 2018 hemp bill sought to create an agricultural hemp industry, not open the door to the sale of unregulated, intoxicating lab-made hemp-derived substances with no safety framework, McConnell said this summer. Later in July, the U.S. Senate removed the hemp THC product ban provisions from the spending bill before the full body voted 87-9 to approve it because Senator Rand Paul threatened to hold up the entire funding package otherwise. While the previous version of the legislation would have prohibited hemp-derived cannabinoid products containing quantifiable amounts of THC and THCA or other similar compounds, the latest version in the deal to reopen the government includes provisions to allow up to 0.4 milligrams of total THC per container. The term container, quote, means the, quote, innermost wrapping, packaging, or vessel in direct contact with the final hemp-derived cannabinoid products such as jars, bottles, bags, boxes, packages, cans, cartons, or cartridges. While this allowance represents a favorable shift for hemp-derived cannabinoid product businesses, companies that manufacture and sell intoxicating hemp products in today's market would have to overhaul or abandon their business plans. The U.S. Hemp Roundtable, USHR, a hemp business advocacy organization, condemned the latest proposal, arguing that it would recriminalize hemp products and threaten to eliminate $28 billion industry that provides 300,000 American jobs. If enacted, the provisions in the AG spending bill would wipe out 95% of the industry and result in a $1.5 billion in lost tax for states, according to the organization. Quote, our industry is being used as a pawn as leaders work to reopen the government. Recriminalizing hemp will force American farms and businesses to close and disrupt the well-being of countless Americans who depend on hemp, USHR General Counsel Jonathan Miller said, quote, we support Senator Rand Paul's efforts to push back on this language and will continue to fight alongside him for a regulated, safe, and robust hemp industry. As part of the deal to end the shutdown, the federal government would be funded through January 30th, 2026, providing back pay to all federal workers as lawmakers spend the next 2.5 months working out the specifics on longer-term packages for other programs. However, the AG spending bill would include full-year funding under the deal, as would the Milcon VA and legislative branch bills. Senate Appropriations Committee Chair Susan Collins worked to gain the support of Senator Patty Murray, the Democratic caucus's top-ranking member of the committee, for this minibus package. However, Murray voted against the continuing resolution deal that to fund government through January 30. Quote, I voted no on the motion to proceed because as long as there is still any time left to reverse the MAGA health care hike, I believe we must do everything we can to force Republicans to the negotiating table. The fight for health care does not end tonight. Collins, meanwhile, delivered a floor speech to applaud the negotiated deal on November 9th. Quote, one of the most unfortunate and shameful consequences of this shutdown have been that these vital nutrition programs were in jeopardy for our most vulnerable families, including 170,000 Mainers who rely on the SNAP program, she said, quote. Before the government can reopen any other further consideration of the deal for several days, and Paul, who opposes restrictions on hemp, could be a possible roadblock, at least temporarily. Politico reported that Paul warned his fellow Republicans last week that he'd prolong the Senate's passage of a reopening package that included language to kill an entire industry, quote. Paul was the lone Republican who voted against the continuing resolution on November 9th, arguing increase the national debt. Also, Paul plans to submit an emergency amendment to strike the intoxicating hemp product ban from the proposed funding bill, according to the USHR. Well, there you have it. We hope that language doesn't get included in their system because we don't, yeah. I mean, okay. And I know the government would say, yeah, you know, you're arguing that we're providing hundreds of thousands of jobs and billions of dollars in taxes. And I'm sure they're going to come back with just say no, the whole campaign, right? It's not good for the kids. What about the babies? You know, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, there's so much scientific research out there now and has been since the government started researching this since 1940s and before. I'm putting a sticker on my computer right now, so just forgive me. Anyway, at any rate, there we go. Cute little giraffe sticker for my mama. It's a puffy one too. I found stickers. Silver Sister and I were at the Goodwill, and I found these stickers. And because I'm old, I got a senior discount. They gave it to me anyway. I'm not quite there. I'm only a week and a half away. But they gave me the discount anyway. So they were puffy little stickers, and they had it's Paul Frank. So there's, you know, monkeys and giraffes and dogs with braces and flying monkeys and all sorts of stuff. And they're puffy. And I was like, oh, they're going to love this. 2 and 4 year olds. It's going to be great. So I go out there. They come to the gate with their dog so their dog can get a treat. And I was like, oh, they always want a surprise. Kim, what do you have for me? So go running in the house. I'm all excited. I come back and I was like, hey, check these out. And the older one goes, Kim, that's not what we wanted. She wanted like a little mini Snickers or a piece of chocolate or something. So we all have a good laugh about that one still. And then we were, us adults, quote unquote, were like, oh, you can't say that. And I was like, no, she absolutely can say that. If that's her opinion of it, she doesn't have to have it if that's not what she wanted. And then she was like, no, I'm just kidding. I really want it. I want to have it. I want it. And the little one, who was 2, had no clue what was going on. And that was pretty funny. So that's not what we wanted. Anyway, you're listening to Weedsday Wednesday. Belle Star here. Cannabis Kid, Silver Sister are out there. If you wondered what you want to get your medical cannabis card for, or I mean, what conditions you can get your card with, here is the list. PTSD, must have records within the past 12 months. Cancer, glaucoma, AIDS, I'm sure you already have records. Chronic pain, you may or may not have records. You can get records from your chiropractor or voodoo doctor. We don't care. As long as it's chronic and our doctor believes you, it has to be at least 2 months worth of chronic pain. And that can be migraines, arthritis, fibromyalgia, whatever, cramps, backaches, leg aches, muscle aches, severe nausea, seizures, including epilepsy. HIV, Hep C, ALS, Crohn's disease, all these kinds of conditions. If you're diagnosed with that, you're gonna have medical records, and we don't care how old those are. Let's just get them in there. Agitation of Alzheimer's, dementia, all of those in between, cachexia, wasting syndrome, severe and persistent muscle spasms, including MS. You are eligible for a medical cannabis card if you suffer from a chronic or a debilitating disease or medical condition, or just a treatment for a chronic or debilitating disease or medical condition that causes any of the above conditions and more. Bring your current medical records with you at the time of appointment or walk-in. If you don't have current medical records, we can offer some with an evaluation with your appointment. Payment is due at the time of your appointment as well.
If you suffer from one of these medical conditions and have been diagnosed by an Arizona licensed physician, medical cannabis may help relieve your symptoms. Tumbleweeds Health Center is Arizona's premier cannabis certification, health, and education center. Our primary focus is to help the patients of Arizona obtain their medical marijuana card and educate everyone about medical cannabis. With current medical records, approval is a simple process. Contact Tumbleweeds Health Center to see if you qualify for your Arizona medical marijuana card.
Are chronic conditions holding you back from a happy, healthy life? Get on the right track with Tumbleweeds Health Center. Our CBD products are formulated to fit your health lifestyle.
I would definitely say that CBD has changed my life. I mean, I don't worry about my dog anymore, and I don't worry about sleeping anymore.
Tumbleweeds Health Center, voted #1 health center in Tucson, has created a proprietary number of CBD blends, each designed to promote health and well-being. Let Tumbleweeds Health Center show you how CBD products might help you improve your life the natural way.
All righty, kids. Well, that's about it for the day. We appreciate you being here. We love being here with you. And you're listening to Weedsday Wednesday, live cannabis, marijuana, pot, weed, radio show, podcast, whatever you want to call it. We don't care. Just tune in and listen in with us. Thanks for being here. And as always, be smart, be safe, and educate. Happy Weedsday Wednesday, everybody. Silver Sister, feel better. Cannabis Kids, sell, sell, sell. We love you. Have a great day. Happy Weedsday, everybody. Be good. Smoke some weed. Have some fun.
If you suffer from one of these medical conditions,